Okay, so I want to talk briefly about three psychological factors here that are causing people to not wear masks when they really ought to. Okay, one of them is peer pressure. The peer pressure is a bad force, right? That if you know what the right thing to do is, but you don't do it because of peer pressure, that's no good, right? You got to be smarter than the crowd, and if you know what needs to be done, you just need to do it, and you need to not worry about that negative peer pressure um, that's counterproductive. In this pandemic, it makes sense to take steps to prevent the spread of infection. One of those steps is to cover your face when you're in a crowded place. The grocery store is one example. The unemployment line is another example, right? Cover your face, and other people ought to be covering their face too. The peer pressure should be to cover your face right now because that's how this virus is spread, through air that is emitted from people's lungs. You breathe it in, and also by touching surfaces that the virus has landed on, right? So, peer pressure, just say no to peer pressure if it's telling you to do the wrong thing, right? The president just announced yesterday, finally, that scarves, improvised face coverings made of fabric can help greatly stop the spread. And in some cases, the choice of material, you might even end up with something that's better than an N95 face mask. This is an N95 face mask. And this one here, it's flat when not used, but you know what? Honestly, I don't think I would use this. I think I would use my improvised methods that I'm going to show you later over this. This is too small, and it's only covering a small area of my face. So some other advantages of covering your face is that it keeps you from touching your face. And if your mask is well secured, you're not going to be fidgeting with it like you might fidget with an ill-fitting commercial mask. So the point is, now the advisement is that people can wear and should wear face coverings, and it is helpful, and even the cloth coverings can be as effective as the commercial mask, right? So the peer pressure is bogus. Forget about the peer pressure. Ignore peer pressure to not wear masks or face covers, and apply peer pressure to encourage other people to wear them now, right? It's like right now it's the same thing as pants. You don't go into the grocery store without your pants on. Now you shouldn't go into the grocery store without a face covering on, right? Another of the psychological issues that prevent people from wearing an improvised face covering is the idea of functional fixedness. Functional fixedness is when you think the object can only be used for what it was advertised or designed to be used for. Like a hammer should only be used as a hammer. If you have functional fixedness, you could never think of how you could use that hammer to do something else, like maybe use it as a paperweight, or use it to prop a door open. The point is, objects can have more than one utility, and you need to think outside the box. In this case, a scarf is actually designed to be a face covering, but people think, oh, I can't use a scarf as a face covering to protect me from viruses because it's not designed for that. Well, guess what? The properties of the material are what's important, not what the label is. And what we want is a material that has a lattice through which the air flows and has to divert around multiple fibers. And when the globules that are carrying the virus are moving through that space, they bump into the fibers and stick, and then do not go into your lungs. So many materials can accomplish that purpose, all right? So functional fixedness means thinking you can only use an object for what it was quote unquote designed for, and your creativity is so limited that you can't see opportunities to use things around you that are available to accomplish the same purpose, right? So let's get rid of that. I'm going to show you some ways you can make your own masks out of common household materials in the next video. The third psychological problem is learned helplessness, right? The idea that you're powerless, you have no way to influence your own outcome, you're just a victim of the world around you. You have no empowerment to take any steps of personal, within your personal sphere of influence, right? And that learned helplessness, that's got to go, right? That's a huge problem, and it's got to go. You can take steps. You should take steps. You're an individual, and you can influence your outcome and the whole country's outcome by not being a helpless little critter that thinks that they can't do anything for themselves. All right, next video, I'm going to show you what you can do.